Good day, guys. So now we have our next question here that is based on trig expressions. So now we are having that we have to simplify this expression here. So now let's start simplifying this expression here. So now we are having tan of negative theta, here. How can we work with this? So remember, we are having here a negative theta. So negative theta, remember, how do we get negative theta? We know that we are on the x-axis. So now this negative here, it is only telling us that we have to move clockwise. So we move by theta degrees clockwise. So if we move by theta degrees clockwise from the x-axis, this is going to land us where? At the fourth quadrant. Right, so now we know that we are on the fourth quadrant. So now, since we are on the fourth quadrant, this is what we have to look for. So how is tan on the fourth quadrant? Tan is negative on the fourth quadrant. So this is going to be equals to negative tan theta. Right? So now we have this one here. We have 90 plus theta. 90 plus theta. We already know that this is where? This is on the second quadrant. But then there's a thing here. 90 plus theta, we know that we have to refer to our core functions. Now, when it's 90 degrees plus theta or 90 degrees minus theta, while we are having a sine or a cos here, just note that the ratio is going to change. If it was sine, it's going to be cos. If it was cos, it's going to be sine. Then now, how do we determine the sine in this case? We say 90 plus theta. We know that we are on the second quadrant. Now, how is sine on the second quadrant? Sine is positive. Then we know that we are going to have a positive answer. But then since it's 90 like this here, we know that we are going to change this into cos theta. So it means that this is equal to cos theta. Then we have a plus here. Then what are we going to have now in this case? We are having sine of 2 theta. What is this? Remember that this is a double angle. You can always check the formula sheet to check this value here. So this is the double angle of sine. So how do we write the double angle of sine? The double angle of sine is equals to 2 sine theta cos theta. Then this is going to be all over what? 2 times here. Then we are having a 360 plus theta. So 360 plus theta. Now this is more like we are on 360 degrees, which is on the positive x-axis, right? So when you add by theta, remember that theta, it's any angle. Remember that theta, just say that theta, it's any angle that is between 0 degrees and 90 degrees. So when you are at 360, then you are on the x-axis. Then you add by any angle that is between 0 degrees and 90 degrees. This is going to land you on the first quadrant. Now, we now know that we are on the first quadrant. How is cos on the first quadrant? Cos is actually positive on the first quadrant because all of the trig ratios are positive. So we are going to have positive cos theta. Right, so that's what we have. Now we want to get rid of these brackets here. Know that we are going to have negative tan theta times cos theta. Then we are going to have here a plus sign. Then what's going to happen? The cosine here, the cos theta and the cos theta are going to divide each other out, giving us a 1. Then we are going to be left with what now? We are going to be left with this. So remember that also that this 2 and this 2 as well, they are going to divide each other out. So that this leaves us with what? This leaves us with sine theta. Right, so now let's focus on whatever that is going to happen here. Remember, when we are simplifying or trying to prove a trig identity, when we see tan, right, we have to always change tan to, into sine theta all over cos theta. Then we have to multiply this by cos theta. Then we still have what? Sine theta on this instance. Then now what's going to happen? Again, let's have a look at this. Cos theta and cos theta, they are going to divide each other out, giving us a 1. Then 1 times sine theta or negative sine theta, we are going to get negative sine theta. Then plus sine theta here, then plus sine theta. Then what is negative sine theta plus sine theta? This is going to result to 0. So this is how we solve this trig expression. And then remember, guys, that's what you have to know, that when you now change negative tan negative theta, we are going to get a mark for changing this. And as well, 90 plus theta, when you change this, then you get a mark as well. Then when you change the double angle, even though it's there on your formula sheet, you're going to get a mark. Then when you change this one as well, the one that is below here, you're also going to get a mark here. So this is how we get most of the marks in trigonometry, by changing this into the simplified version of this one here. So when you change this trig ratio, we get a mark for that. Right, so that's what we had for this question, guys.